In the streets of the hood. In the streets of the hood. Back in the hood. Yeah. We's back in the hood. Oh, here we are. You're in my heart, you're in my soul. Oh God, I have to go here.
Welcome to Passport TV. I am your host, Harry Dick. I'm at a loss for words, folks. I don't know what to say. What I do know is, if there is a way to describe frail, weak, little, it's in this video. That's right. Listen to the crusted-headed clown, the frail man. Listen to how cool he sounds walking through the mean streets. Listen to how brave he is. Now, in reality, we all know that the frail man does not leave the house alone. He only feels confident and cool when he's accompanied by another person. And today that would be Jimmy's wife. Jimmy's wife taking him into the city. That's right. And as you could see, Jimmy's wife is very busy. She's got a very heavy backpack on her back. She's got a very big bag in her right hand, carrying it through the streets, so the frail man can do his YouTube video. I don't know what to say, folks. I don't know what to say. As the video continues, we will see how somebody so frail, so weak, so desperate that they go to another country, not to enjoy culture, but to take advantage of the hardships of other people, so that finally, in his life, he could be somebody. So who goes to another country, travels around the world to participate in traditional foods like McDonald's? Let's pick back up in the video with the frail man.
These things don't make any sense. Now McDonald's wants you to order on a machine. For the time it takes for somebody to go through the list on there, they could have went to this lady, went up to, hey, I'd like to have a, what do you call, breakfast sandwich or something. And I already spent 5 minutes trying to teach the guy on that, where if they just come over here, they could have made their order, and the order could have been going already.
Well, old frail man sure has a lot to say. And remember, folks, this is coming from a man who could not find a Starbucks in the mall. This is coming from a man who didn't know it wasn't such a great idea to sing a song about another man's genitalia to a 9-year-old boy. Keep this in mind, folks, as we continue on.
So either way, the gal had to come over and show people how to use the damn thing, because the machine was not always accurate. Okay, and sometimes something was not highlighted, so you had to ask, what's the problem here? Automation, is supposed to be good, but it's really not good. It's not good at all. It doesn't really, it takes a lot longer to get the job done.
All right, and as you can hear, the old frail man stepped outside the fine dining establishment to enjoy a cigarette. I find it ironic that the old frail man has a lot to say when other people are smoking cigarettes. He criticizes people on their smoking habits, and me personally, if you smoke, that's your choice. I do not, but doesn't seem like the old frail man is considering that people are coming and going in and out of that establishment, especially young children who shouldn't be exposed to such things. The old frail man doesn't seem to consider anybody, men, women, or children. Let's continue on, folks. Let's continue on.
The whole time, you're over there trying to figure out what you want on the screen, You deal with a live person. Hey, I want a breakfast sandwich. Okay, what would you like to do? Get something to drink. Okay, thank you. 240 pesos, sir. No, 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 no. Sorry. Work for a living. Grow up. Work for a living. I don't have money. No money. Delay. No. Asking me for fucking money. Parents allow them to do that shit and they grow up to be beggars all their fucking life. Oh, I've given to kids, but you don't give them in Cebu City. You just don't do that. You are enabling them to live that lifestyle. You can't do that. You just can't do that. Harsh reality, my friends. Harsh reality.
All right, as a world traveler, and anybody who has experience traveling, we all know that you can't be handing out money to every person that comes up and asks you for money on the street. Especially in a place like the Philippines, you'll be swarmed in no time by children and adults asking for money. But I do believe that this could have been handled much better. Maybe a better choice of words, a better attitude. Let's remember, folks, this is coming from a person who sold a house, kicked his brother out on the street, sold a house, and was bragging about how much money he has. And I'm not saying he should have given his money, not hard-earned money, but given his money to poor children that were begging on the street. But maybe a better choice of words, or if he really did have a heart, tell the children, wait a moment, and maybe bring them out a sandwich from that fine dining establishment, something. Or do nothing, or just, be nice about it. That's just my opinion.
You gotta know where to draw the line. You gotta know where to draw the line.
You got to know where to draw the line, folks. Unlike him, who didn't know where to draw the line when it came to his choice of songs to an 8-year-old child. That's right.
Okay? And you cannot encourage this behavior. Some of them are working for syndicates out here. And how much money they make and this and that, is all going to a syndicate. And there's a lot of them out here. Yes, we are at Fuente Circle. And by the way, we got in late. You know where we stayed? We stayed at the Quest. You got a problem with that one? The Quest? You got a problem with that one? Okay. Anyway, I see that Big E is still pumping money to Big Kevin. Like Big Kevin is really going to make a trip to the Philippines. I would be shocked if he did. I would be absolutely shocked if he did. Big Kevin is no shape to go to the Philippines. It's too hot. His weight, his breathing is not good. So I told Big E right off the bat, why don't you donate to some poor kids instead of some fat fucking loudmouth slob, insulting slob who likes to make fun of people's girlfriends and wives, who has...
Okay, so the old crusted-headed hamhead is correct about children working for different criminal groups that are out on the street. But once again, you could have bought them a sandwich so that the kids could have eaten a sandwich, or done nothing at all, said nothing at all, instead of being very irritated with the children and speaking to them the way that you did. As the video went on, you started to hearing about where he was staying, and then his attitude changed again, and now he's demonstrating his jealousy of other YouTubers for the donations that they received, the super chats that they receive. And let's not forget that the person that he mentioned, Big Kevin, he challenged Big Kevin to a super chat Sunday or a super chat Saturday, one of them, super chat, and he lost miserably. Yes, it was it was a blowout, and then his whole attitude changed. Oh, I don't care about super chats and all this and that. But now he's insulting Big Kevin, talking about his health. But you're talking about a person who is not only frail, but has some very severe breathing problems. And probably not going to be around very long. So that's why Jimmy's wife agreed to the whole thing with the house, because Jimmy's wife and Jimmy and the kids will be living happily ever after in the house. But then you hear him talking about this YouTuber talking about people's girlfriends and wives. This is coming from the crooked mouth of a person who has insulted every female on YouTube. Let's continue on, folks.
Squandered people's money on his whole show. It's a little jaded.
Okay, folks, once again, this is all being said out of jealousy because nobody has donated to him. Nobody will donate to him other than himself, which he actually has done in the past. Donated to himself so that it would look like people really do enjoy his content. What I find amusing is what he is accusing of another YouTuber about squandering money. This person here, Crooked Mouth Frail Man, he actually received money, asked for money to give to poor people, and turned around and gave it to his girlfriend. And his response to it when people became angry about that was, well, my girlfriend is poor. That was one occasion. Another occasion was he was trying to raise money for a handicapped girl. And he did receive money from a very generous person to give to this handicapped girl. And he became angry at the handicapped girl. And instead of giving her the money, he did what he wanted to do with the money. And folks, this is all true. This has been documented many times over and over and over again. Let's continue on. Let's continue on, shall we? Let's continue on.
I mean, what Big E gives to just to get popularity, right? That's what he does. Big E does that. To show people, hey, I got money, I got money. He says he gives to kids. Oh, I hope he does. I certainly hope he does. And I would imagine he probably does. But when you give to people like Big Kevin, it's a total waste of money. You know? Like these kids who walked up to me, right? Well, they're probably part of a syndicate. I didn't want to give them shit. I stopped giving little kids money in Cebu City.
You're not surprising anybody. We all know that you don't give anything to anybody. Nobody.
Provinces, different story. You know, they're all forced to go out on the street and do this shit. I personally don't want to encourage it. No, you can't call me cheap.
Yes, we can. We could say you're cheap. You are cheap, 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 cheap. You drove, well, you didn't drive. Your brother drove you 10 minutes to a store so that you could save pennies. Pennies, pennies, pennies. Save pennies on a bottle of vinegar. That sounds cheap to me. Cheap, 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 cheap.
I'm certainly not. See, like this man, he's working. Encourage the kids to be responsible. If they're going to have a job like this, they're going to earn their money. I may sound old-fashioned, but that's exactly what I am. I am old-fashioned as far as that goes.
You're not old-fashioned. You are old. And what makes you old is not the number of years you've been alive, but the number of years you do not live. And you do not live a life. You traveled around the world to sit in an air-conditioned room, YouTubing. To sit in an air-conditioned room, trolling channels, waiting for your meal to be served. You don't go out, you don't do anything. You won't leave the house unless Jimmy's wife is holding your hand. You have no life experience. You're not old-fashioned. You are old, and it's not because the number of years you've been alive, but you're old for not living a life. Old, 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 old.
Earn your fucking money. Teach your children well. Remember that song? Teach your children well.
Now you're getting creepy again. The only thing you taught a child was a song about a man's genitalia. You need to stop. You need to stop. Shut it. You didn't even have a chance to teach your own offspring anything. She has no relationship with you. She doesn't want to have anything to do with you. And you never met your grandchildren. So the only thing that you've taught any child was a song about a man's genitalia. And that is true, folks. Plenty of documentation. Let's continue on, shall we?
If you teach your children well, they're going to grow up to be responsible adults. By just handing out money to kids on the street, by the way, some of them try to distract you. They'll go for your wallet. They're very good what they do, trust me. You know, anyway, the sounds and sights of the big city. Sounds and sights. We've had a pretty good journey, I'll tell you that. I did enough traveling for a while. You know, it may sound like it's not a big trip, but you consider all that's involved and how many forms of transportation, waiting with 100,000 people at a port, going through security. What the fuck, am I leaving the country? I probably went through a lot less crap, you know, leaving the Philippines or coming back than I did just to get on a goddamn fucking ferry. And I kid you not. The adventure continues!
Wow, what an adventure. You got on a ferry and a bus, and you did nothing but complain the whole time. Nothing but complain the whole time. That's not sharing any adventure with anybody. You did nothing but complain about the ferry, the bus, insulting the way things are done in another country. This is typical of you. Typical of you. You didn't show anything. You didn't do anything. You went from point A to point B. Let's continue.
There you go, a nice, healthy breakfast. High fructose corn syrup, greasy, deep fried hash browns.
Little confused here, folks. Now the old hamhead is mocking the food that he's eating. And number one, why are you eating there? But it's no different than the shit that you eat any other day. You've always eaten hash browns. Why are you mocking it now? Why?
And a lot more cholesterol right here on a sausage, McMuffin with egg. I'll tell you what, around this section right here, there ain't nowhere else to go. Next stop, immigration office. Yeah.